Good morning, Andrew. Thanks so much for jumping in on the virtual pink couch to update us on Jamaica and the Sunwing's efforts to support the island. But before we get into that, Andrew, I'm leaving for Jamaica Wednesday morning. So the timing is really interesting because when I tell people that I'm going to Jamaica and I'm actually going to extend the trip to have a vacation, woohoo, people say, "Really? You're going to Jamaica? Why would you go to Jamaica when it's in such a bad state?" And so I'm doing research and I find the communication extremely confusing. On the one hand, everybody's saying, everything's good, we've recovered. On the other hand, we need help. So which is it?
Well, good morning, Nina. Thank you for having me. It's great to be on the virtual pink couch again. There's been a lot of obviously Jamaica was devastated. Some of the communities on the southern coast of the island were took the first brunt of Melissa and were extremely badly impacted. So they certainly need everybody's help. They certainly need the assistance of not just the Jamaican community, but the global community. And we'll come on to that, I'm sure later. But I think, fortunately, a lot of the resort areas didn't do quite as badly. Some of the intensity of the hurricane had gone. There are some resorts which took a bad hit. Some, the hurricanes and the footage that you see, sometimes it's really, really random as to how one structure survives and one doesn't. So there are certainly some properties that won't see guests again this winter, but there are others that are minus a few palm trees that are back to their original best and ready to welcome people to everything that Jamaica has to offer. And it's not just the hotels, it's also some of the infrastructure. So I talked at length with Angela from JTB, and we've had Sunwing, our own colleagues have visited the island. And as you know, we still have the relationship with Nexus, our DMC. They're all there and on the island. And it's not just about the hotels being open. There has to be the excursions for people to
of course,
take some time off. So the majority of the excursions are also up and running. And it's also things like, should you need it, and making sure that the hospital facilities are there and stocked as well, which they are in the areas, the normal areas. I'll say the Negril, the Mobay and Ochi kind of areas.
A lot of the local communities are missing power, though, correct, on the southern coast, or is that coming back?
I think power's been gradually restored. It was a while until it actually made it to Negril, so that was one of the things that stopped us from restarting quite as quickly as we thought we were able. Was that hotels were still working on generators in a lot of the island. Now all of the north and the west is connected to the grid again. Yeah.
So how do we, as the travel industry, support the island? Because it survives to a large degree on tourism. We need to be sending tourists, but are we also then creating more of pressure on the infrastructure by sending tourists?
Around 30% of Jamaica's GDP is driven by tourism. So, and especially when there have been cancellations from the US airlines and so on. I think this is exactly the time that we need to be there and supporting, making sure that people have the means to support their families and so on, and that they can be back actively working. And again, not just in the hotels, but also the vendors in marketplaces, people who work excursions, people who are working at the airport, the transfer companies. It really does go deep into that. Into the economy, and at the same time, obviously, there needs to be resources that are helping the harder hit places that are outside of kind of like that tourism zone. And I think that we by using the aircraft that we have, which we've used for supplies. We've worked with Global Medic for packing events and to get emergency kits down there and supplies. WestJet themselves donated all the proceeds from the holiday parties across the country to the relief. And we're also at Sunwing for the next 2 weeks, giving $100 per couple for anybody who books Jamaica any date. Just as an incentive. So you're not only you're gonna get a great vacation, you're probably gonna get Jamaica at a better deal than ever before, because obviously there are rooms open that the US market's not filling, and at the
Ah,
same time you can help the community.
so to recap, Sunwing Vacations is giving $100 on every booking as of today to support relief in Jamaica. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Wow. So that's very generous. And you're doing that in order to stimulate travel to Jamaica, to reinstate travel, to support the island, a combination of both.
It's a combination of both. Obviously, we want to re-stimulate travel. The good news is that this almost came a little too late, actually, in that as the weeks have passed since Melissa, that demand, and as people have actually seen properties reopening, that everybody's connected, everybody's seeing, on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever, the results reopening and things. They all know the status. People are actually beginning to rebook, and over the last 4 or 5 days, bookings to Jamaica are actually been in line with last year again.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, 10 days ago we were still lagging. Obviously 20 days ago they were
Yeah.
completely almost nothing. Yeah, so the market has picked up and people are recognizing that, yeah, this is a great time to go, and we're just making it so that if you do choose to go, you do choose to book with someone, we'll give back a little bit to where it's still needed in
Yeah.
Jamaica as well.
Now, Andrew, you're saying that American carriers are not coming back. Americans are not necessarily flying to or avoiding Jamaica, so gives us, better room rates and more capacity to fill, better option on ocean view rooms, all that good stuff. Why are Americans averse versus Canadians?
Uh, I think it's really. I think the airline. It's a broad statement. Obviously, Americans are still flying there in great numbers, but I just, from what we've seen at Vacation Express, the main carriers have really thinned out a little bit, and I think that would be an instant reaction to the hurricane.
Hmm.
And to the aftermath that they saw. And obviously, they're having to, just the timing of the year, they probably have to get their schedules set for Christmas and the New Year period very
Hmm.
far in advance. So they probably, I'm guessing, took the option that the safest option, which was to thin capacity out.
So, if a travel advisor is speaking to a prospective Jamaica traveler, what do you suggest they say to that individual?
I think that they should tell them that of the hotels that are back, there is. We have a wonderful thing on sunwing.ca, a great resource that actually shows verified by Sunwing. That means someone from
Right.
Toronto actually went and travelled, saw the resort, and has verified that everything is back in the condition that you'd expect.
Hmm.
And we're also inspecting locally as well. So between those two things, there's a level of confidence. But also the JTB has got excellent resources as well, which is showing how every property is opening, because a whole number of extra properties came online this morning, actually, the 1st of December. And then there's
Okay.
another raft 2 weeks today on the 15th, which come online.
So, in
Yeah.
other words, if a property is open, there really shouldn't be any reason not to book Jamaica.
No, no. I mean, people are not opening up in a still trash kind of way. They're opening up as close to perfect as is possible, and that
Right.
might mean that there's the number of palapas is less than it was before. Certainly, the palm trees are not as cute as they were before, but there might have been a beach bar that was taken out that now needs reconstructing, but
Okay.
95%
Not a painful
have
experience at all.
got.
There's
Yes,
plenty of
exactly.
bars.
Yeah.
And since I've got you and you're still such a strong player in Cuba, what about recovery on that island?
Well, not fortunate for people who live in the eastern provinces, but the path of Melissa took it eastwards in Cuba. So of the tourist areas, really only the Holguin area was the only one that was really impacted, and they had that. It had lost some strength. It was still devastating for people who live there, but certainly not the hit that Jamaica got, and
Right.
everything was back up and running, and we were actually flying again within 5 days back to Holguin. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's funny, they were predicting a bad hurricane season and then it ended up being mild and then bang, right at the tail end, we were
yeah, yeah,
smacked. And yeah, a lot of people, and that's the thing that, we're in the business of selling or sending Canadians who want to have a vacation and some sun and sand and beer and all that good stuff. But the people who live there, they have to continue, they have to live. And so the best thing we can do, I guess, to support them is to send Canadians down for a vacation.
absolutely. When it's a country that really depends on tourism as much, yeah, and has always welcomed tourists in the way that Jamaica do as well. I mean,
So
it's
true.
yeah.
So true. Thank you for the update and very welcome initiative. We will make sure that everybody knows about that. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you so much, Nina.